Hey folks, welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Welcome folks. Welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk.
Fun. There's always fun, especially with CenturyLink internet. I hate it. I can't wait to get my new internet.
Oh, Jeff, it's too fun. I just love these last second glitches, right before we go on.
Yeah, I mean, boom, the internet just goes out. I hate
right
CenturyLink.
mid-sentence, I'm talking to you, we're chatting, having a good time, and then boom, you freeze up.
Yeah, it's gone. All of a sudden, boom, it was gone.
All right, my friend. So I guess we better roll along because we got a great show tonight for you folks. Excellent guest. So let me run through it real quick, get it done. Today's show, of course, is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk member and guest belong solely to the member and guest, not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin. And yeah, Jocelyn just saying, hey, folks, if you have a question, be sure to type it in on YouTube, and either Jocelyn or Jeff will pick that up. They go by too fast for me, so I can't see it. But I know with our guest tonight, we're going to have plenty of questions. But let me continue with the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting, and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And hopefully we'll do that tonight.
Yes, indeed. So we're done with that. Thank the Lord for small favors. And let's hope that the internet stays good.
So what happened, Jeff?
I don't know. It's the CenturyLink gremlins.
Oh, good.
Sometimes I'll be working away and all of a sudden, boom, it just lose it. And then you got to go out and you got to reset the stupid router and yeah, I don't know. My new internet should be hopefully in January.
Yeah.
I mean, fiber optic, so it ought to be good. It can't be bad. Can't be any worse than what I got. So
there you go. Absolutely.
We best get after it. We got a busy night tonight. Got a lot of really fun things happening tonight.
Yes, for sure.
So you'll all want to stay tuned and stay on the edge of your seat. I'm telling you, because there's something special happening tonight other than visiting with the three of the finest treasure hunters on the planet. So shall we get after it?
Yes, let's get after it. Bring the first one on.
Well, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, because we got 3 of them for you tonight. The first one is renowned in many circles. He may even at one time had his picture on the post office wall. We're not sure. But y'all know him. Y'all love him. Captain Carl Fismer. Let's bring Captain on. There's Captain.
Oh, you can't put it on.
Hey, Captain, how are you?
No, don't worry about it.
You got your mic on, Cap? I don't think he's got his microphone turned on. No, this is going to be an interesting night tonight.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Turn your sound up, Captain. Well, let's bring on the Dive Master Marc Littleton.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Mark, I don't think Cap got his microphone
to turn the sound on.
Hey, Joe,
yeah.
There.
I think I can send him a private message here.
Yeah, send him a private message because he's not getting our message.
I'll see
And Mark, how you doing? While we're trying to get Captain Fizz on, how you doing?
I'm doing real good, Phil. How are you doing?
Awesome. So I'm going to get started asking some questions right now while we're getting Captain Fizz on. So
well, we got one more guy.
You guys are diving the 17-15 fleet now?
Nope, the season's over. And unfortunately, we had some boat issues this year, but we're all set for next year.
Okay. So you won't go out in the weather like now when if it calm days, you just don't do that?
Phil, I'm going to wait till Thursday after this tropical storm comes in, and I'll be hitting the beaches over here in Vero Beach. So,
Okay, you'll be hitting the beaches. That's what I figured. And it looks like
yep.
we lost Captain Carl.
He'll be back.
Okay. So yeah, with that storm heading this way, that should create some beach hunting
There
events.
should be some good erosion. It should kick some stuff up for us. Probably
Yeah.
see a lot of people out there.
Yes.
Okay,
Now,
let's bring on our other guest here, Brad Williamson.
Captain Brad.
There we go.
There we go.
Hi, gentlemen.
hey, Brad.
I think
welcome to
Fizz,
Treasure Talk.
Fizz flamed out. I don't know what he's doing. His device, something. It's going to be a gremlin night, I think, but he'll be back in.
Well, he's got his wife Scooter there with him. She's really good, so I'm sure she's helping him figure this out right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. This has just been one of those nights. So
Yeah, we have the computer gremlins out working it tonight.
yeah.
So let me continue with my question. I was talking with Mark about the storm coming up. And this was always a question I had, does that create, if this storm was during your season, would that make changes on the bottom like it does on the beach? So uncover things out in the water too?
Absolutely. The bottom topography always changes with storms and everything else. Things get rolled around, moved around. Holes that have been blown by boats like ours in the past, you might be reblowing a lot of those again because you don't know what's going to be in them. Things do change.
Oh, okay. So it would move the whole ocean bottom around from
It
what
stirs
you
it up.
guys-
Yes.
Okay, stirs the things up.
yeah, I heard from a friend of mine that later this week they're looking for, especially off the Treasure Coast, 20-foot swells from this tropical storm thing.
That's what they're calling for. I heard the same thing.
Well, that could mean some really nice beach erosion for the wet sanders, and for you guys out there, that could really it could be double-edged sword, couldn't it? Could either bury something that you want, or just
I found a lot of nice. I found a lot of nice artifacts when there's a cut and I go to the beach. I found silver pieces of 8, pillar dollars, clippy coins, the transition between the pillar dollar from the piece of 8 to the pillar dollar. So to me, I love working the beach also. As you know, I've done a lot of stuff both in the water, on land, domestically and internationally. And so I'm actually looking forward to this storm.
Well, let's hope it tears it up good, so everybody down there on the Treasure Coast, it's the landlubber, can find some good stuff, and you guys can find some of that gold.
Exactly.
So I see Captain Fizz is back. Can you hear me, Captain?
Yes, can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes, finally. It's been computer gremlin night, Captain.
I was thanking you for that nice introduction. So anyhow, we're here.
Well, good. We got all your compadres here with you tonight.
That's correct. And fortunately, I'm not the ugliest person on tonight. So we'll let
I know.
everybody-
Should I just do this or what?
Sorry, Brad.
It's not bad, actually. But just
It's an
kidding.
improvement.
Yeah, well, what the heck? Well, I didn't hear you there for a few minutes. And what were we talking about?
The storm coming.
Yeah, I saw that. It could be a pretty good one.
Well, that's what Mark and Brad were saying. They're looking forward to it because it could really reveal some goodies for y'all.
Yeah, it's every time a storm goes anywhere near the Treasure Coast, yeah, that's a good sign. It used to be everybody would be out there during the storm. And I guess to my knowledge, there were never any accidents, but I guess the sheriff thought it was bad, so they started blocking the islands off until after it was over with.
Yeah. So you guys have, we'll just, Phil is formulating some questions, I think. I know that you were somewhere on a treasure hunt. You were there too, weren't you, Mark? You and Captain somewhere this summer? treasure?
This summer, no. Other than the beach, no, because our boat wasn't working this past season. Okay. Okay. We've done some classes down in the Keys this past summer, but that was about it, other than me working the beaches.
Okay. You were supposed to go to South America or someplace, weren't you, Captain?
If you're talking about me, I went to the Dominican Republic.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. I've signed a 5-year contract. It's no secret. And what I like about it is that means I'm going to live at least another 5 years. Isn't that right?
Works.
Yeah, that's how that's done.
Phil, you need to send me another contract, man, and make it a long one.
Yes.
A 10-year contract for sure.
You know, because sometimes, you know, I'm thinking about my childhood and stuff like that. I'm going, oh, my life's flashing before my eyes. I'm fixing to go. You know, it could go at any minute.
Yeah, well, I'll just throw in another thing here real quick. You know, you probably know Carl Allen is working in the Bahamas now, salvaging treasure, and they've just opened up a new museum. He's invited us to come over and take a look at it, and I really like museums, especially when they're done upright. I'm sure this one is. I've curated a couple of them myself, and I've helped to set other ones up. And proof of this would be Pat Croce's Pirate Treasure Museum in St. Augustine. I'm up there quite a bit. They sell my coins and books and things, and every once in a while I'll do an appearance up there. But that's been there now going on 12 years. 12 years. And it's won Best Attraction in St. Augustine 12 years.
Nice.
Yeah, now the new one is coming in the Bahamas thanks to Carl Allen. A new one has recently opened in the Dominican Republic. And this is the kind of thing those cruise boat people are looking for. I've been contacted by another serious country that has a lot of treasure wrecks here recently. And I'm supposed to go there maybe in 2 weeks and have them. They're talking about opening up permits to salvage treasure in this country, in the Caribbean. A great place to go, but they've never allowed treasure before. But the cruise ships have said, you know, hey, this is a great thing. And it is a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've had my say.
All right. Well, let me get started with some of the questions we have. And of course, Jocelyn's on YouTube and Jeff's on YouTube trying to watch the feed. If you have a question, just type it in there and hopefully we'll get to you. So first, let me start with Bradley, because this is the first time you've been on the show here with Jeff and I. And just give us a little background about what you do and where you're located at.
Wow. I'm in South Florida. I've been involved in this industry. I met Mel Fisher when I was about 11 years old, and that was what got me interested in it. And then I trained under Commander Bob Weller, Bob Frogfoot Weller from '87, and I dealt with him. We had a lot of adventures, 1715 fleet, 1733 fleet. I've done projects in Canada. I've done projects all over. I also I've done some filming. You may have seen me on Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates. I've done several episodes with that. I just did something recently with William Shatner for his TV show, The Unexplained. I did that with Mike Daniels, the gentleman who found Blackbeard's ship. I can't talk about that right now because until it's aired, I can't really say anything. But I think it's going to be a great episode. It's a little bit about me. I have my day job. I've got a screen on right now because if I turn it off, you're going to see I'm in a lab. As you two gentlemen know, I'm working for my master's in biotechnology, human genetic bioengineering at Johns Hopkins University of Medicine. And so I'm actually sitting in a lab right now. If I take this nice backdrop that I've got behind me, you can see a lab with a bunch of beakers and glassware and stuff. So, yeah.
Well,
one thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Phil.
I was going to say a big welcome to you to the treasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're
You know,
glad
it's
you're
wonderful. And you know what, Phil? It's kind of nice. We got a guy we can go to and say, hey, can you hook me up with Captain Kirk and Josh Gates? Get them on the show, you know?
Yes, that would be really cool for sure. Well, we're glad you're
Shameless.
here.
We're just shameless, you know.
Let me butt in here for a minute about Brad.
Cap.
Brad is not only like John Hopkins, he's maybe one of the few people in the world that's going to Harvard and John Hopkins at the same time. Both of them colleges are, he won't tell you this, but he's a better than 4-point student the whole time. And he's going to do something great in the world. I don't think it's going to be in treasure, but I think it's going to be in something that's going to benefit all of mankind.
Can I share with you gentlemen just a neat story real quick? This is a neat story about you, Fizz, a little behind the scene things. True story. I remember when I was going back to school, studying medicine, and at the time I had just started up. I wasn't getting financial aid. I'm doing anatomy and physiology. I know this isn't about treasure. I'll be real quick here. This is a nice thing about Carl to show the quality of his character. Since I couldn't afford my books, I was actually going to the library at night, taking the books, from the library and going through them, reading them, studying them. And Fizz goes, he knew that I was doing this. He goes, Brad, are you going to be available 2 days from now? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, don't worry, I'm going to come by and see you. I'll come by. He comes by and he goes, okay, Brad, let's go to the bookstore. I'm like, why? He went there, no question, picked up my books for me. And those are expensive books, the anatomy and physiology. But it was just, it was just something nice without even asking or saying anything, I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for Fizz supporting me. I was lucky in my life. I had people in my life like Commander Bob Frogfoot Weller, Bob Weller. I've had Fizz in my life. I've got Mark in my life. I've been very blessed by the people that I have in my life.
I wrote those books, by the way. I don't know.
I know you did, especially I can't say it right now, the chapters that you wrote, but maybe I shouldn't.
But that was Playboy. He's confused tonight. That was the article in the Playboy.
All right, well, Bradley, we're glad you could come on with us tonight for sure.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
All right, well, I guess I better get started on some of the questions that we have already. And this one is from Jerry Burball, and he's asking, when is the next session for Scuba Wise Treasure Hunting Workshop? When you guys?
Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Glad you're here. Listen, I'll be posting on scubawise.com pretty soon, the new calendar for 2023. But the next class will probably be in June when the weather's good in the Keys.
I was drinking beer with Jerry just 3 days ago.
Well, we're glad to hear that. So, Mark, what is the water temperature when you guys are diving down there in the Keys at that time?
It's high 80s.
High 80s.
High 80s.
Yeah, it's always nice down there.
Yeah,
we did have a question from the Mumbles man. He said this panel is very good. He says we got Captain Fizz, Captain Littleton, and Captain Bradley. Where's Captain Morgan? And then of course the Diggin' Canuck comes in. He says in her cup. So
that's good.
There's the Captain Morgan.
Yeah,
there you go for sure. All right, well, let me keep going on my list because I was actually able to repost, since Jeff has quit being on Facebook. I reposted some of his show notices, and I actually asked people to send in some questions for you guys. And this one is from Allison Walker, and she's saying, with all the weather and storms, that's an interesting thing for right now. How does that affect the scatter on the bottom? The scatter field, rather. And
Brad,
anyone
you want to take this?
Okay.
Oh, okay. A lot of times it depends on, the depth. If it's shallow, I mean, it's going to move things around. The deeper the water is, because I don't know if you can see this, but here's one of this is actually the very first piece of bait that I found. I'm trying to bring it up there. It's on the Nieves. But when you see the sand, that's not the true bottom. These coins, they come to rest on the sand, and then they just kind of worm their way down till they hit the hard bottom underneath, which could be either coquina, Pleistocene, limestone. And so, some of the sand may move. If you're a shallow or high energy zone, yes, it'll move it around. But if you're out in deeper water, And it would take some really powerful waves if you're out in, say, like 20 feet of water or something like that to go pass through all the sand and move the stuff. So a lot of it depends on, where the wreckage is and if it's in a high energy zone or not.
Yeah.
Most of the 1733 is in the high energy areas.
Yeah.
In fact, the only damage I've ever seen on gold coins has been off the 1733 fleet, because a lot of times it whips them right over the rocks and sand and things. And normally a gold coin will come up just the way it went down, but it's very important in working, especially high energy areas, to get them as clean as you can pick them.
Okay. Now, you guys find a lot of treasure over the years. How do you guys sell that?
We'll leave that to Carl. Carl, how do you sell your
I can see him thinking.
Well, it's just about. I broke in with D.L. Cheney and Jack Haskins, and D.L. and I got to work together for 2 years. Unfortunately, he had a bad heart and he passed away, which I've written about. But recently, his daughter found 65 coins from 1981 still in the safe deposit box. They had forgot all about them. And those were coins, the last ones that I guess DL and I had picked up together. So I real quick built a reverse electrolysis machine. Thanks to Brad. He sent me the instruction, and it worked too, by the way. And I got them cleaned up and all sold. I sold all of them on Facebook before Christmas. Normally
before they banned you.
Well, I am the Facebook jail champion, but that's all right. I challenge anybody. And, they don't like me very much, but for some reason I seem to attract a lot of attention. They told me I'm not allowed to make any more friends because I have 5,000. I knew I was close to that, but I tried to get new people recently, and they say no. But anyhow, that's how I sold the last batch. But mostly I have people contact me, and I work with 2 jewelry stores down in the Keys, DePaula's. But I've been doing that for darn near 40 years. And then every once in a while I'll make an appearance somewhere just to sell books and coins. But that's the way we've always done it.
So how many books you got now, Captain?
I have 3 books out right now. The last one being about Jack Haskins. It's called Time Ranger, In Search of Jack Haskins. And actually there's a lot of things in there that Jack has written. Even though he never got published, he had written a couple of really good articles. And for some reason, they didn't get to the publisher, but I put some of Jack's stuff in there. And it's just, Jack deserves a lot of tribute that he never got. A lot of the big wrecks would not have been found without Jack. And he's responsible for more Spanish treasure recovery than anybody. If he didn't personally jump in and find it for you, which he did, then he supplied you with the information that led you to it. Anyhow, I'm going to send you guys 3 books if you want to give them to somebody. You asked me about that.
Well, what we're going to do, Carl, I've already got the drawing, and we're going to draw a little bit later in the show. Then I will send the winners' names, addresses to you, and you can send them right out to them. Now,
Okay.
they get to pick the book that they want, and we'll name the books when we do the drawing.
Sure.
Yeah, now I know, Cap, you've come and spoke at the metal detecting clubs in Tampa Bay and also over in Largo in St. Pete. And I think they might have you scheduled for in March, if I'm not mistaken.
Paul was telling me about it. He just didn't tell me when, but that's okay. I'm kind of flexible these days.
Yeah. So are you still in, where are you living at now?
I'm in Tampa now.
Okay. You're in Sun City, right?
Yes. And,
Oh, okay. Cool.
I've been meaning to. I wanted to bring you a metal detector to look at for me. You're on Florida Avenue, if I
Yes.
remember. Yeah.
And I'll have to make sure I take some pictures when you come in the shop for sure.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just our hours are kind of a little crazy. We're there Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Just give me a ring first. That
I'll
way I
call
know,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
that way
good.
I know I'm there. And of course, my buddy Joe Vizzy helps me on Saturdays, so he'd like to have you come in then, I'm sure. But let me get back to some of my other questions that I had. And this one's for Bradley and for Mark too, and I guess you too, Cap. What equipment are you guys using now?
Well, the biggest piece of equipment we have is the Pandy on our boat with the blower on the back. That's the biggest piece of equipment we have. And in the water, we use two different types of metal detectors. Carl uses the JW Fisher, and Brad and I pretty much use the Aquapulse.
Aquapulse, okay. Is that what you guys use on the beach too?
Actually, I use the CTX 3030 on the beach and an Excalibur on the beach, and also have an Equinox for the beach, depending on what I want to carry and for how long I want to carry it.
Yeah, Equinox is pretty darn light. How about you, Bradley?
Pretty much, Mark, you got a lot more detectors than I do. Me, my own standby has been the Aquapulse. It's treated me very well. I'm very, comfortable with it, so I like it. I'm also looking at, maybe looking at some of the detectors in the Garrett line. I like some of the Garrett detectors. I'm looking at those out of Texas. I like those too.
Okay. Y'all ought to look at the XP Deus too.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Fizz would always say, Fizz is great for Fizz. I'm stealing one of your lines, buddy. But all the detectors are really good. It's like, what works for you? People always say, which one's the best? And like Fizz would say, Fizz is the Buddha when it comes to knowledge on treasure hunting. Yeah. They would always say they, detectors are good. I mean, they wouldn't be out there if they weren't good. So
that's a fact. There's the big companies. I'm telling you, through the years, I've known most of the people at them, although lately the old timer guys have passed away, and now they have a lot of more younger, ambitious kids. But I have had a lot of talks with people at all the other detectors, and if they weren't good, then nobody'd buy them. So if they're in business, they work. For me, I liked it on pulse induction. And when that came out, what was that, about late 70s, I guess. And boy, it just turned the treasure hunting around. That's all I use is pulse induction, and I like it a lot. The JW Fisher Pulse 8X, I prefer a meter as opposed to a bone phone or headphones. And I can tell you what, I've been in a lot of debates about that, but I won all of them.
Well, so what we'll do right now, Phil, if you don't mind, before we get into this, I'm going to pop everybody into the green room. We're going to have a word from our sponsor. Then we will be right back.
Okay, cool. Sounds good to me. That guy's really nice too.
Well, I don't know. I'm losing my head there, but and get me out of here.
Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida. Today we're going to talk a little bit about coils, about increasing your finds by using a different size coil for the application. Now today I have my CoilTech coils here. These are available for the MindLab Equinox 600 and 800. And this is a very popular coil, the 5x10 coil for relic and coin hunting in very trashy areas. Excellent coil, covers a lot of ground, still goes deep for the 5x10 size that it is. I also have a 14x9 coil and a 15-inch coil. You should think about changing your coils to do different things with your detector. To go deeper for relic hunting or deeper on the beach, you want to cover more ground. Think about using a different size coil to dress up your detector and find more finds. Also, CoilTech has a special for Christmas. They have a special promo pack that comes with each coil. It's a $50 value. I think they might call it a prospecting kit. But anyway, it has a lot of accessories in it, and we'll have those in stock next week. So Phil Myers metal detector, and remember, along with your new coil when you get it, you're also going to get one of our famous Florida calendars and our nice blue hat. Phil Myers metal detectors, 813-237-1939, or look me up on the website, myersdepot.com. Thank you and happy hunting.
Gosh, that guy talks a lot, don't he?
He's got good information.
Yes.
So let's bring all our peoples back here.
All back. Hey, we got him.
You know, we got them all. I just got to bring them back.
Yeah,
Here we go.
all right. Well, let's get right back into it. So we were talking about equipment. Of course, you saw on the video there that we do stock it all in Tampa. If they have any questions on that, for sure they can give me a call. But this question here, if I can find it, Jocelyn just handed it to me off the phone. It says it's from Jean P, and she's asking. She has questions for the guests. Have they worked with women divers, and how many women divers are out there doing what you guys are doing?
Can I?
Yes, I have. Matter of fact, I've worked with Buddy Martin a lot over the years. Buddy's one of the best guys in the business. And his wife, Kathy, took up diving and metal detecting. And then there's a lady that's a friend in California. Her name is Shannon McGifford. And we hit a lot of wrecks one summer, and we picked up a lot, and we did good. I was looking at those pictures again today, thinking about how I'd like to get back on some of those sites. But now this was way back in the early 90s. And as you know, we probably get dozens of new rules, laws, regulations, ordinances against us every 15 seconds. And so now all those wonderful places we went are off limits, but we did good. Kathy and Shannon were great. Another friend of mine, Lynn Jackson from New Smyrna, she's a friend of Jerry's who had and she's got a 100-ton license. She'd been captain on that big jack-up barge. It scares me. And she's recovered coins on shipwrecks. I'm hoping to work with her in the future.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Go right ahead, Bradley.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say, and Fiz, you could relate with this or hop in here on this too. You know, Commander Weller, Bob Falco Weller, his wife, Margaret Weller.
I left that for you, Brad.
Thank you, buddy. She was also known as Lady Gold Diver. She would be out there every day on the boat with all the guys. I mean, she would pull anchors sometimes better than some of the guys out there pulling the anchor lines. Yet, you know, when the time came, she could put on, you know, a dress, do a nice presentation, a nice party, every bit of lady. It was really neat to see the dynamic where she could be out there, you know, and she's one of the few women that actually found a gold royale. Her and Dio Fisher are the only two women that have ever found a gold royale. Hers was a Margaret found a, go ahead, Fizz.
Didn't she snorkel that?
No, she was actually with Bob.
Yeah.
They were working together in the hole. They had blown the hole, and Bob was down there with a metal detector. Margaret saw it on like the side, and she grabbed it real quick. She told me before Bob could find it and brought it up. It's like, I got this. This one.
I heard that, but somebody told me she actually snorkeled down just at the right moment and grabbed it. But too good to be true.
Yeah, you know, with this industry, the better the story, let's go with the better story, whichever.
But to answer your question, there are a lot of women that do this. There really are that actually do this. Matter of fact, we have an open invite to one of your guests, Allison from Canada. She can come on the Pandion anytime she wants with us. She's been a student with us and a great diver and a great metal detectorist.
She is that.
Absolutely, she is. Absolutely.
And just an outstanding person.
Super nice person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just bring rum for Carl. We'll be fine.
She did actually.
I know she did.
I was going to say, Mark, that was one of the questions. She said, when I'm retiring, can I come join his crew? So
Absolutely. It's an open invite.
he's got an invitation.
Yes.
And also, some folks had asked what was in that package on my video from Coil Tech, and that was a nice aluminum drinking cup and a few other items. So they can call me to shop for that tomorrow. But today we've got our guests, and of course they know my phone number because it's everywhere. Jeff's got it there too. So it's right.
813-237-1939. If Phil don't have it in stock, you don't need it.
There you go. And it's right beside my head there. So if they can read it right there. Awesome. So plenty of women can be involved in this.
Definitely.
I guess it's not a sport. It's for you guys. It's a business, treasure hunting business then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For us weekend warriors, it's a kind of a sport hobby thing, but it's always cool when you guys can come out like Captain Fizz comes to our metal detecting clubs and does a presentation, because people learn a lot seeing everything when he does that. So hopefully Mark or Bradley, you could do that also.
Definitely.
Yes. Would love to.
Yeah, I got an idea about that, Phil. We'll talk about that later. But speaking of presentations, now we've had this for a little while, and we're going to do a special presentation tonight to Captain Fizz and Dive Master Mark. And this was something special that, and we're going to bring the artist on that we had done for them in appreciation of them being on Treasure Talk and just putting together a fantastic business for people to hunt for treasure. So do you have that there, Phil?
Yes, I do.
And we're going to get that, and then I'm going to bring this wonderful lady on.
I just had to run across the back room here, but I got it in my hand.
You got it in your hand. Okay, let's bring on the artist that did this for us.
Yeah,
her name is Adele Rutherford. She's a beauty, and
that's awesome.
She is absolutely right on with her art. So let's bring her on.
Awesome.
That's Adele, and she's the one that painted that.
How are you?
Picture, and she did it, and then that is absolutely right on, and that is on a nice slate.
Yeah,
yep, from an old rooftop in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Pittsburgh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That's looking good. Yeah, the original of that, George Lansbury, the TV producer, Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard, George Lansbury. I did 6 one-hour shows for him called Treasure Divers, and he had some famous artist in Germany make up the real one. And then when the show ended and everything was done with, he told me I could just go ahead and take that and use it. You've done a wonderful job on there. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're going to present it.
A picture. So that shows you the type of talent this woman has.
Yes, very talented.
And I love to metal detect. 40 years.
Nice, very nice.
Awesome.
And she's only 27, so she's been doing it a long time.
Wow.
I'll let you keep 10% of everything you find.
There you go, Cap. And we're going to present this, Adele. We're going to present this to Cap Fizz whenever he's at one of the Tampa area clubs. So
wonderful.
We'll for sure send you a picture of it.
We'll do videos of that, and we'll have it on the show. So Adele, again. We wanted to make sure that you were here for this presentation.
Thank you so much.
Because what I did is how it came about, I just was flapping my mouth the one time when, you remember, Mark, when you and Cap were on the show, what, 6-7 months ago?
Yep.
And I was just flapping my mouth. It'd be wonderful. We had a picture of that for him. And then the next thing I know, I get a text from Adele. She says, I'm sending you something. So, and that was it. And I'm going to tell you what, that is straight up fantastic. So Adele, thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you so much.
You are the artist. That's for sure.
Yes,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adele.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
And like I said, Cap, we're going to present that to you at one of the club meetings. The next one you're at the Tampa Bay area, I'm going to bring that and give that to you. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm glad Jeff was able to do this so we can present it to you guys. So
Phil, when you do that, let me know. I'll take a ride over.
awesome. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you ought to set up with the WSAS club, Phil. See if you can set up a treasure hunter night for the club with Bradley. May be able to come over, Mark and Captain Fizz.
Yeah, that'd be
At the
awesome.
WSAS club, that'd
Sure.
be killer.
Yeah, and it would be great for you guys too if you want to sell some of your stuff, because we're actually in a coin store is where the meeting is at. The gentleman that owns the building likes to sell lots of coins and treasure coins, anything he can get his hands on. So that would be great for you guys too.
Yeah, Mark and I would like to sell Brad. Maybe we could do it there.
Dude, you're going to be on hard luck if you're trying to sell me. I don't think you're not even going to go to a quarter.
Yeah, but Brad, he'd have a blue light special that night.
I don't even think that would work.
And Jocelyn handed me a question that was on the phone here, and it's from Ricky T. He says, "Have Mark show us a scudo he wears. It's beautiful." So let's see everybody's coins they're wearing.
That's my Lima Ada Scudo from 1712.
Okay, and that was found over on the Treasure Coast.
That's a beach find.
A beach find. Did you find?
Beach find after Irma.
After Irma.
After Irma. That's both sides of it.
I remember dropping that.
Yeah, me too.
The finders keepers, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
Ricky T, he said that you let him wear it one time at some hunt or something, and you had to tackle him because he was kind of parading around with it, you know.
I think I had to chase him about a mile and a half, then I tackled him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's quick for a big guy. He's pretty quick.
Sure is.
All righty. Well, let me keep, because time's burning here. Let me go through my list here of questions. And this one here is from Allison Walker, and she's asking, have you guys found any new shipwrecks that you can talk about? No, Mom?
No.
Yeah.
Up.
Yes, yes, and no.
Yeah. Thanks, Fizz.
There you go. That's the answer.
I knew that was coming. All right. Any amazing treasure finds since you guys have been on last that you found that you can share?
Last season we found a couple good conglomerates of cannonballs, which were really cool. Matter of fact, I've got one behind me if you guys want to see it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a 20 pounder. Hang on one second.
Well, he's getting that. We got a question from Surfside Dan for Captain Fizz. Wants to know if he found any gold in the HMS Mermaid. Captain?
I'm thinking about that.
While he's thinking, that's the cannonball from the 1715 fleet. We found a few conglomerates of it last year, which is really cool.
Now, Mark, do you sell things like that, the artifacts?
Not normally. I just collect them and I keep them, and they mostly go in my safe to deposit box. But that's just too big for my safe to deposit box, so it stays in my office.
Yeah, I just think
that just shows you there's a lot of unfound 1715 fleet stuff yet. Absolutely, and you can imagine how any of those cannonballs are going to hit on your machine. It's just Mark found us a good place that needs to be gone over like a fine-tooth comb kind of thing.
We'll be back there next season where we found these.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I would think artifacts like that, is there a lot of people wanting stuff like that, or are they more after the coins?
You know, an artifact like that sometimes means more than the coins. At least to me it does. It's the history that matters. You picking up a cannonball? I got a ton of coins. I don't have many cannonballs, I'm going to be honest with you. So it depends on the person.
Yeah. Would something like that be very valuable? I'm just curious for myself.
From the 1715 fleet with the COA, you're probably talking about $800-900.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I think having a cannonball laying around the house might be more important for me than the coin, you know.
Yeah,
I like history and I like artifacts, and I just think that something that's more unusual would be more collectible.
Oh, sure. Like a cutlass or rapier or some of the, when we find those on wrecks, the cutlasses, the rapier,
astrolabe,
pistols. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I even think it looks cool that it's you know, the way it was found. You know, it's rough. It's not being cleaned. I just think so. Did you have a question, Joss?
Only, I don't know if you, the story about how he found that gold.
Okay, someone's asking about the coin that you found, Mark. The story on it.
Story on it was after Irma. I was metal detecting down the Fort Pierce area. Okay, and I was out there for a few hours. That popped up, and it ran to my car, and it headed home real quick. The heck of a hit. And
Yes,
only,
that is. And what
yeah,
size is that coin? Is that an eight?
that's an 8 Escudo from
Okay.
Lima 8 Escudo from 1712. There it is.
Yeah, that's just an awesome find, and it's still found on the beaches today. People ask me that all the time. Hey, is treasure still found on the beach? I said every day. It's
Yeah,
found.
it is.
That's
It might not
correct.
be a gold coin like that. It might be a gold ring. It might be something totally different. It might be treasure to one person, another person it might not be. But it's
You know,
found every day with metal detectors for sure.
it doesn't have to be old to be treasure. That's
No,
for
it
sure.
doesn't.
No, it
Absolutely
doesn't.
not.
All right.
I
I
was
know Carl said he was giving away 3 books for you guys to give out tonight.
Yep.
I got a piece of 1715 Fleet pottery that we pulled up. Okay. This will also go with his books.
okay. Awesome.
I'll send it to Carl. So if Carl would want to do a COA with it.
Sure, I
And
will.
yeah, and it can go with the books to whoever you allow to win it tonight.
Okay, we're gonna have 3 people win. So
That sounds
Okay.
good. Let me clear the air about the HMS Mermaid. I found that in 1985. I was working for Bob Applenap, who was the richest guy in the world at the time, and there was no money on that. In fact, there wasn't hardly anything. They were buckled up, going to go back to England, but they had to drop a passenger off, and unfortunately, the wind caught them, and they lightened the ship with every heavy thing that was on board. And then they started dropping the anchors. And the anchors are spread over about 200-yard area, but all 4 of them dug right in. And that meant that the shank was pointing the way the wreck was. We found one of the anchors, and we just followed the direction that the shank was pointing and found everything else. The one mystery had cleared up, but it's how Mermaid Beach got its name. It was from the HMS Mermaid in 1760. No money on board. And if you want, I could tell a fast, funny story about Bob Applenap, the richest guy in the world. He wouldn't mind. He had a sense of humor. But so I had talked to him on the phone, but we made a deal. I run the boat over, and the crew's tying up the boat. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and Bob Applenap drives his golf cart down. He says, "How about a drink?" You know, whoa, okay. So I jumped in the golf cart. We went up to the bar. This is on Walker's Cay in the Bahamas. And so we're sitting there drinking rum, and he's lighting cigarettes and smoking them, which I don't smoke, but I don't care if you want to. And so we're talking about, of course, treasure and what we're going to do in our plans. And he's telling me things he knows about the area. Then all of a sudden, he just jumps out of the chair and goes running around the end of the building. And I thought, I'm going, what the heck is it? Yeah, and the richest guy in the world. And about a half hour later, he comes down to the boat, and he said, "Fizz, I'm sorry I did that." He said, "But my doctor's here." And he said, "Yeah, my doctor came through the door into the bar area, and I told him I quit smoking and drinking." True story. The richest guy in the world.
All right. Well, I think I better let Jeff take over because I see that banner going by. So somebody is a winner tonight for sure.
Yeah, there's going to be 3 somebodies. And then Fizz will get to choose who gets the pottery, which one of the winners for the book. Now, there's 3 books. There is, what are they again, Captain? I'll let you tell us.
Uncharted Waters, Man Overboard, and Time Ranger.
Okay, so if your name is called, you'll have 3 minutes to text me, and you see my number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Text me with your name and you're here, and then what you have to do is send me an email with your name, address, and phone number, and what book you want to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. I'll get it to Captain Fizz. You'll get your book, and one of you lucky people are going to get some pottery. So I'm going to call 3 names, and if in by 7:55, if you haven't answered me, then I'm going to call 3 more names. So get ready. Metal detecting with CZ Kid, you are a winner. Martin Bishop, you are a winner, and TJ Naylor, you are a winner. So text me.
Do it fast. You got however
Brad,
many.
go faster if you want to win.
Yes. Hey. All right. Now this question here, Jocelyn just handed me from Pink Power Alley Treasure Hunter, which we know. What's on each of your bucket lists still left to find? That's a good one. You go first, Bradley.
Okay, I've got one. Actually, there's some photos of me when I was over in Egypt doing some research. There was a gold sarcophagus that from one of the Great Pyramids that was on the Beatrice on her way to the British Museum when she sank in a storm. And that would be neat. I mean, just imagine this is on a shipwreck diving down and find the gold sarcophagus lying there from one of the Egyptian pharaohs along with all the other treasure and artifacts. It went down on the Beatrice.
And do you know where it went down at?
And, because about do I really want to say?
Okay.
I'll give you the latitude and longitude. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, is it deep water or is it diveable water?
It's my understanding it would be deep, but it still could be dove using the right gear. So we'll just kind of leave it at that.
All right. Cool. All right. And you, Mark?
Boy, well, I started diving at 8 years old. I'm from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and when I was younger, I'd say about 1920, I ended up diving off of the Seeker out of Brielle, New Jersey, which you guys are familiar with that from shadow divers. So I got to do the Andreadorias with these gentlemen. And all over the years, I did all the wrecks along the Jersey coast and the Northeast. My goal was always to dive Spanish galleons from being a kid. What kid doesn't want to, dive on a Spanish galleon? So I kind of grew up that way and kind of befriended Carl almost 8-9 years ago now. And that's when Scuba Wise started. And he got me involved with the Spanish galleons and that. And my goal now is to have a big find on a Spanish galleon. So that's pretty much where I stand.
Okay.
This year.
Yep.
This year. Yeah, this season.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be this season. It's going to be our turn this year.
That's right.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Carl, so how about you? Anything left on your bucket list?
Yes, actually, I have a lot of faith in satellite pictures. As a matter of fact, there was a fellow from California that used to send me satellite pictures. And he was so good on it, he had everything marked, like so much silver here, and an arrow would be pointing to it. The cannons are over here. And he was right on. Every one of those pictures he sent me, me and the crew went to these places. And this was when I was telling you about Shannon McGifford and Kathy Martin. This is what we were doing, diving on these satellite pictures in places that are now, you ain't allowed to go there. If we catch you, we're going to kill you kind of thing. But that sure paid off. Well, I found the very last satellite picture he sent before he passed away. And it looks like sometime in the next few months, it's legal. This place hasn't been outlawed yet. It's way miles offshore. It's not close to any place, but it is an offshore reef. And it looks like in the next few months, I'm going to get the chance to go check out this particular satellite picture. And it will be the biggest thing since Mel hit the mother lode, if it's true. And he was never wrong. He sent me at least a dozen satellite pictures showing all that other stuff we recovered. And this was the last one.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's give a couple more names because two of them weren't watching. TJ Naylor texted me, so he is the winner. And I think he was the first one to text Carl. So let's give him the pottery to boot.
Yes.
And let's do Surfside Dan and Shannon Bortner. You got 3 minutes to text me.
And I think I've seen both of those in the live stream, so I'm sure they're going to be the winners. So Captain Fizz, now you guys, when you find something, Mark, you're giving them that piece of pottery. Did I hear you say you give a certificate of authenticity?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll mail it to Carl, and Carl will create a COA for it.
Okay.
Okay,
right,
so Carl, I'll put it in the mail tomorrow to you, so you should have it in a couple days.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Right. Before I stop here, I just want to wish Carl a happy birthday. His birthday was a couple days ago, and we kind of missed it here, so I just wanted to let everybody know Carl just had a birthday, and happy birthday, Carl.
Thank you. Thank
59
you.
and a half, Captain.
I'm going to start going the other direction next time.
Okay. Cool. So how important is like the certificate of authenticity, like with the coins and stuff like that?
Very.
Very important. It increases the value immensely.
Right. So
and it proves they're real. It really does. And especially if they're coming from somebody like Carl or Mel Fisher or somebody who's been in the business for years, it means a lot.
yeah, because that proves it came off of that shipwreck or whatnot, or where it came from.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So if you're a collector, you want to have the certificate of authenticity.
Absolutely.
Now, how about the coin you're wearing on your neck, Mark? Do you know what ship that came off of, or?
Yes, and I'm not saying.
Oh,
And so does Carl. He knows which one too. So, but I'm not saying.
So if you find something on the beach here in Florida, because I have people ask me this all the time, you're permitted to keep it. You don't have to tell anybody about it, or what does somebody have to do?
I will defer to Carl on that one. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, well, it's pretty common knowledge that you're still allowed to find something on the beach as long as your feet's not in the water or your metal detector head's not in the water. If you're on the sand and you find something, it's yours. Now, there is a big movement trying to stop that. There's another big movement about making the beaches private property. There's always groups of people, mostly bureaucrats and politicians, that just want to put you totally out of business. But right, and I have people living in Fort Pierce would say to me, "Where's the best place I can go to metal detect?" And I said, "You live there." Yeah, the potential. There's been 2 Charles II 8 escudos found on the 1715 fleet. One was way back in the 60s when Carl Clausen was there. But if there is any such as $1 million coin, it's anywhere between Sebastian and all the way south past Fort Pierce. All the beaches in there are good. And Charles II 8 escudo royals are the rarest, although I'll take any Philip V I can find. But if you want to find where one coin will go into an auction and bring $1 million, that's where it's at, on the Treasure Coast. And I'll let you keep 10% of it.
There you go, for sure. So, Jeff, it looks like, did we have both winners?
We got them. We're good.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, did you have any other
Good
questions?
to go. And out there, all they got to do is they got to send me their name, address, phone number, and the book that they want. TJ Naylor is going to get the pottery because he was the first one. And send it to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. I will shoot it down to Captain Carl, and you'll get your book soon and the pottery. So that's pretty good price tonight. It's very, very interesting reading, by the way.
Yes, I've got those. Hey, Carl, we have one question for you on the metal detecting on the beach there. And I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it. The person's asking, it's okay to hunt the wet sand when the tide goes way out.
That's right.
at the big negative, the full moon or whenever it is, the negative tide of the month, you can follow it all the way out then and hunt the west edge.
But also, anytime the weather's even a little bit rough, if you see any cuts along the beach, go right there.
Absolutely.
Look for the black sand.
Look for the black sand for sure.
Yep.
And it looks like, Jeff, we're just about out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we just had one other quick question that I think Mark can answer from Rick Tumbleson. He says, what is Mark's plan of attack on Thursday without naming a specific beach? Because everybody here knows, or maybe they don't, there's a big tropical storm coming in. It's going to pound the east coast of Florida, specifically down there in your area, I think, isn't it, Mark?
Yes, that's what we're looking at. It's being hit this area down all the way down from Melbourne down to Fort Pierce is what they're looking at right now. My plan of attack is actually to be down near Hutchinson Island is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be going further south.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll be down there. If anybody wants to come out, I'll probably be right around the Douglas Beach area.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, you may have a bunch of people out there.
Be safe while you're out there.
See me.
Bill, are you in the store tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes, I am.
What hours?
I'll be there from 10:30 to 3:30.
I'll be in. I want to bring that machine over to you.
Okay, all right, cool. Look forward to seeing you for sure.
Good,
Yeah,
thanks.
Well, Phil, now when Carl is there, if you're going to give him that slate, I want you to film it. Have somebody film that.
Okay, yes, just call me ahead of time, Carl, so I can have somebody in the shop. I'll get Jocelyn to come in and she'll film us.
I'm not
Present.
coming in for that. I'm coming in to see
Oh, you're just
Carl.
coming in to see Carl.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't
yeah,
blame her.
he just
Love
wants
you,
to
Carl.
see you, Carl, for sure. Well, guys, I wanted to say thank you for being on the show here. Thank you, Bradley. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Captain Fizz. It's always fun talking about treasure and seeing treasure on the show here, too. The finds you guys find over there on the 1715 fleet for sure. And Jeff, thank you for setting all this up. You do a wonderful job, even with the gremlins. We have fun, don't we?
We had some gremlins. We did have some fun. And I've got something in my mind, and that can be dangerous. So I'll be reaching out to all of you guys here. I got an idea.
Good.
Brad, super that you were able to join us tonight. Many, many thanks for that.
Thank you for having me.
And Mark, always a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime we can spend some time with you. And Captain Fizz, we love you to death, my man.
Oh,
And
gosh,
it's
thanks.
our pleasure to spend any time with you. So everybody, when we announced that Fizz and Mark and Bradley are going to be on the show, it went ballistic. So
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it did in many ways.
And there were FBI agents here asking about Carl. I don't know nothing about that. So I'm going to plead to Sergeant Schultz on that aspect of it. But we got to get out of here. But guys, I'll be reaching out to you soon about coming back on for another go round, probably around March or April, maybe sometime this summer. Let's see what everybody's finding.
For
Sounds
sure.
great.
Good.
Love to.
Look
All
forward
right,
to it.
guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. We hope you had a good time. Congratulations to all the winners. Remember to do the email, name, address, phone number, and the book that you want from Captain Carl Fismer. Get that to email with me. I'll get it to Carl, and you'll get your goodies. So with that being said, we'll see you Thursday night for Treasure Tales. And happy hunting, everybody, and dig deeper. And remember, if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you probably don't need it. And the phone number at the shop is 813-237-1939. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
All right, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Stopped up.